Hi, everyone. Welcome to the library's virtual celebration of National Newspaper Week. My name's Beth, and I'm a librarian with the Maricopa County Library District. National Newspaper Week runs from October 4th through October 10th. So today we're going to talk about how to use the library's online newspaper resources from the comfort of your very own home. So right up here in the upper left-hand corner of the library webpage, there's a research tab. We're going to click right there. We're going to choose subjects. And then we will scroll down until we get to newspapers and magazines. And now we've got a list of all the various online resources the library subscribes to get you access to newspapers and magazines virtually from home. We're going to start with a resource called Press Reader. Press Reader is made available to the library through a resource called RB Digital. Once we get to the RB Digital page, we're going to scroll down until we hit Newspapers, and we'll click on Press Reader. Now, if you already have an account with RB Digital, you're going to click Sign In. If you don't, you're going to click Register. It's just a really quick form to fill out where you choose your username and password and enter your library card number. I've already got an account, so we'll say Sign In. And now we're in. So to access Press Reader, we're going to say Check Out. And this will get us unlimited access to Press Reader through your library card. So we'll click Access, and it takes us away from the RB Digital webpage and to the Press Reader page. So we're going to click right here on Select Publication, and it'll take us to the Publications page of the Press Reader website. We've got some featured newspapers here that we can click on if any of these look interesting. Or if there is a specific newspaper in mind, we can do a quick search. So up here in the top right corner, there's a box that says Search Publications. We'll click right there. And we're just going to find our local paper, the Arizona Republic. Once you're at the Publications page, we've got three columns here. All the way to the left, we've got today's issue of the paper. In the center, we've got latest issues if you want to look at some of the recent publications. And to the right, we've got Discover News, where they've got some popular resources that other readers have enjoyed that they think you might enjoy as well. So we're going to start by looking at today's paper. We're going to click right here. Right now we're on page view, so we're seeing the newspaper as it appears in print if you were to buy a copy from the newsstand at the store. The other option we can choose is text view right here in the left-hand column. This is going to split up the articles into smaller text pieces similar to what you would see at the AZ Central website. So it's each individual article together instead of that big newspaper format. If you prefer the page view, you can go back to that. There's also the option of listening. So if you prefer to use a screen reader or to have things read to you, if you struggle with reading things off of a screen, this listen option is great too. It's robotic, read by a computer and not by an actor. So sometimes the pronunciations can be a little bit wacky, but otherwise it's a pretty good way of getting some information from these newspapers. So let's just play around with this page view just to see what it looks like. Let's look at the weather, because that's something that's always of interest. So if you use the scroll button on your mouse, or if you're on a tablet, you can pinch and open just like you would to zoom anywhere. You can get the size you want to see to read. And to move up and down, all you do is click and drag to just pull it down to the section that you want to see. So here's our weekly forecast here. All of these things you might be interested in seeing in the news. And to go back to the normal view, you would just scroll back to small, and you can flip over to another page. If you want to head straight to, let's see what the Diamondbacks are doing, there are some shortcuts right across here at the bottom. Let's look at world news. So you can pop back back and forth throughout the paper to find the section that you're most interested in. Now that we've looked here, let's head backwards. And you just click this back arrow as many times as it takes to get back to the page you were looking for. So let's have a look at these latest issues. You can look at one of these from the front page, but if you click on See All, let's have a look here because this is pretty cool. We've got yesterday and the day before and last week, but if you keep scrolling, again, use the scroll function on your mouse or touchpad on your computer, or swipe to the side if you're using a phone or a tablet. You can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and let's hover on one of these. Now we're at June 2020. These archives go back several years. So if there's a particular issue of the paper that you're looking for and you want to print off the specific page view of what it looked like in the actual physical newspaper, this is a great resource for that. So you can head back. It goes back, again, as I said, several years. So you can get back issues for all manner of things. And we'll head back to our page. And if any of these newspapers here seem like they are of interest to you, feel free to click on these and play around. And we're going to head back to the publications page. So let's start by looking at this left-hand column here of ways you can narrow down. If you're not looking for a specific paper and you're just checking to see what's interesting, the default category in this left-hand menu is categories. So you can check and see if there's a type of magazine or newspaper that you think looks most appealing, or there are other ways to narrow it as well. At the top, we've got countries. If you've ever lived in another country, or you have a family member living in another country, or if you're just really, really interested in the news from the UK, you can get newspapers from all over the world through this resource. So you can scroll down. This is quite a lot of countries that are included in this database. You can get news from just about anywhere. Our next option is languages. So if you speak a second language, or if you're learning to speak a second language, you are absolutely able to get a newspaper here that you can use to brush up your skills or to practice, or just to keep yourself connected to other countries and other language groups where you have family and friends and connections. And the other and then we switch back to categories. Another fun way to search in Press Reader is the advanced search. So you can do keywords or phrases. So let's just say we want to see some news about those recent wildfires that were taking place. And we just, for our purposes, would like some English language papers. You don't have to choose languages or publications if you don't want to. If you know the author of the article you're looking for, you can enter it right here. Or you can limit it to, I just want news stories about wildfires that have been published this week. So we'll click Save, and then we'll click Search. And then we get a list of all of the recent stories that have been published about wildfires. So we can click on one of these. We've got the Maui News, so we can read some stories from Hawaii. And it's a really great way to find information on a subject in the news that you find interesting and that you just want to get different perspectives on. It's a great way to get news from various parts of the world, so you can see how people in different regions are framing the same incidents. It's pretty great. So now that we've looked at Press Reader, let's head back to the library webpage. Here we are. We've got our list of resources. The next one we're going to look at is a resource called Newsstand. Now this has a collection of all manner of publications. So not just newspapers, but also scholarly journals, books, videos and audios, and dissertations. If you're looking for a particular publication, you can click on this top left bar just on publications. You can look at the alphabetical groupings if you like. You can limit it to a specific type of source if you just want scholarly journals or you just want newspapers. Or you can type what you're looking for in the bar here. So let's look at the Wall Street Journal. So there are multiple editions included in this list. We want the one published in New York City. This gives us articles published in the Wall Street Journal from January 1984 to the present. So it gives us about 35 years worth of newspapers that we can look at. So right now we are looking at the September 25th, 2020 issue of the Wall Street Journal, and we get a full list of all of the articles that have been published today. So let's find one that we want to look at. Let's just pick this one right here. So we've got our full text of this article. This resource does not do the thing that Press Reader does where it gives you the full page of the newspaper so you can see what the layout was, but it does give you the full text of every article. So once we're looking at this article, if you want to save it for any reason, you can have it saved as a PDF, you can email it to yourself, you can print it out. There are all manner of ways you can hold on to these newspaper articles if you find that they are of value to you, or you can just read what you want to read, hit your back button, and find your next article. Another thing we can do is, again, let's search for wildfires. And once our search comes up, we are going to limit to newspaper articles. And we'll do a custom date range. You can do the last year, the last 5 years, the last 10 years, or you can choose a range on your own. So let's say we want from September 1st through September 30th. Let's just see what we've got. And now we've got 20 articles that were published during that time period in newspapers that are archived by this particular resource. You can pull up the article you're interested in and do the same things that we were talking about before. We've also got advanced search if you would like to narrow things down when you do your search instead of using that left-hand toolbar to narrow down your search after the fact. So you can decide which source type you're interested in seeing, which language you want, all of those kinds of things. If there's a specific location that you're looking for. So this is a good way to search as well. We're going to close this out again. And now we're back at this list of online resources for MCLD. Next, we're going to look at General Onefile. Now, this works in ways that are pretty similar to the Newsstand. And once we get started, you're going to see the ways that these are a little bit similar. They do archive different resources, though. So I still recommend looking at all of the resources we use today because there are going to be different newspapers that are archived in different resources. We're going to start with the advanced search first this time because that's where you get to publication search. So if there's a particular newspaper you're looking for, you can have it list all of the publications, or you can just do a quick search for the newspaper you want. Oh, let me spell that correctly. And here we are. We see the New York Times. And we've got archives that go back to January 1985. And we can choose which issue we would like to look at. If you want to go back to different years, they're in this drop-down list here. But let's just look at this one here at the top. So as we had in the Newsstand, we've got a list of the various articles that are in this particular issue of the newspaper. And once we click on the article, we can see the text version here. We can add it to our Google Drive or your iCloud. You can download it to your computer. You can print it. You can send it as an email. And you get all the way down to the bottom here. This resource also has that listen option. If you want to have the Gale General Onefile robot read this article out to you. It's a pretty good resource to use. And we're going to head back to the main page for Gale General Onefile. And we'll look, this time we're going to just use a general basic search. We're going to use our standard search term that we've been using on all of these resources. Right now it's showing results for magazines. If you want to switch over to newspapers, you just click right here on news. And over here in the right, it gives you options for how to filter your search. You can search by publication title. If there's a particular newspaper that had an article about wildfires in it that you're looking for, you can search by publication title and just type the publication you're looking for right here. You can also narrow it down by date. So if we just want to say the past week, it narrows down our search significantly. It went from 100,000 to 955. So this gets us a lot of targeted resources on the topic that we were looking for. And we're going to head back to the library website because we're going to look at one more resource. This one is called Global Issues in Context. Now, this is one that we recommend a lot to students who are doing homework, but I think it can also be really great for non-students to use as well. If there's a sticky issue in the news that's got a lot of debate happening around it and you would like to know what all the various viewpoints are so that you can decide your own opinion, Global Issues in Context is a great way to find all of the information that you need to make decisions about how you view the world. So they've got issues of interest on the top. There's usually something related to current events in this slideshow across the top of the screen. And then they've got various issues that people look for when they're reading about the news. So if we want to know all of the various opinions that are out there, the various kinds of reporting that have been done in terms of medical testing, that one's been updated recently. And we want to say read more. So this can get us all kinds of great articles that we can look at. We can look at medical tests. We can look at informed consent. This is a great way to get information from various publications all gathered together in one place. So let's do a search up here. We're going to say, actually, we'll just keep our wildfire search. So we've got our overview page here, and down at the bottom, we can narrow things down to what we're looking for. We can look at the featured content that the Gale staff have curated for us. We can look at viewpoints. We can watch videos. We can read journal articles. We can listen to audio files. There are all kinds of great resources collected here in one place. So let's look at viewpoints. A lot of these are going to be opinion articles that have been written for the newspapers. So you can read opinions coming from all manner of viewpoints that can help you put this issue into context with the rest of the information that you have about the world around you. And it can help you settle what you really think. So now that we've looked at several of the library's online resources, you are going to be much more equipped to read the newspaper from your very own home and internalize that news in a way that helps you to expand and improve your worldview and understand the world you live in a much more nuanced way. So I hope you've enjoyed this program. I hope you enjoy reading newspapers through the library website, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.